What is the scariest conspiracy theory if true? The Gov/Bush did do 9/11. The impact that this would have, if proven true, are shattering in proportions to what they then led to. Also the disappearance of the Malaysia flight. It was found, except the story wasn't disclosed, and the reasons behind it are far more serious/scary than what can be told. Don't go to the light, it's a trap. The light at the end of the tunnel that people report seeing when they have near-death experiences is to be avoided, because that's how they get here. They are some unscrupulous aliens who installed a soul-collecting machine on the moon or something. The scary thing for me is the idea that you can be tricked into enslaving yourself in the afterlife as soon as you die. Reminds me of jungle civilizations whose territories have been declared illegal to trespass, including the airspace, except for government flybys used to monitor their status, and it made me think that maybe aliens that supposedly contacted humans when they built Stonehenge, the pyramids, etc. realized it was shitty for us for them to be here, so they declared our atmosphere a no-fly zone minus surveillance, which we've come to know of as UFO sightings. That AskReddit questions about conspiracy theories are periodically posted by the government to measure how close the general public is to uncovering the truth. That every UFO that has been reported is actually a part of one of the government's black budget secret programs, which get over $60 billion in funding each year, and that the government has created such a stigma around UFOs and aliens that it would be entirely feasible for them to create the ultimate false flag event. Think 9/11x. 1 million. To make the populace believe there is an actual alien invasion happening, so they can either A. create a situation that would help pull the world together, or B. give them an excuse to pour hundreds of billions of dollars more into the military program without the people questioning it. Edit. It's a false flag, not a red flag. That aliens are already here on planet Earth, and they aren't extraterrestrial beings but extra-dimensional beings. Based on the idea of the Fermi paradox and the Great Filter, it's that there is a lot of alien life out there, but we don't hear or see any of it, because the ones that still exist know to keep quiet, as there is some greater alien force or technology that hunts and destroys civilizations. I think flat Earth. If that is true, then almost everything I know is a lie. Everyone secretly dislikes you and is just pretending to be your friend. That the government has a deal with aliens that they are allowed to abduct and probe us in exchange for technology. That's how we got that flex tape shit. The agreement between hot dog manufacturers and bread bakers to always sell their products in different quantities. For instance, hot dogs in 10 packs and buns in 8 packs. That Jews run the world, because if that's true, then I'm the only Jew they left out of the cabal. According to Charles Hall, there is a deal with aliens and the government for the tall greys to be allowed to use the land around Nellis Air Base as a sort of stopgap/service station on their way through the solar system in exchange for technology. We also service their craft using, get this, branded Lockheed parts. Considering how pervasive Lockheed is in government contracting, I think it actually makes the theory slightly more plausible. Remember flight MH17 that was shot down by Russia over Ukraine? 100 of the world's top scientists for AIDS research was on that plane, and the former president of the International AIDS Society was there as well. The cure for AIDS was close to being accomplished, and a new world order or top governments around the world allowed it to be shot down. Edit. /u/Rujhin pointed out it was actually 6 not 100. Early media reports were inaccurate. Similarly, Marshall Islands 370 that sunk in the ocean just happened to have a bunch of patent holders for semiconductor technology, which upon their death, the patent ownership reverted to a company whose majority stockholder is a Rothschild-controlled company. Some people get all the luck. That there are no great conspiracies or cabals, that there is no grand scheme or plan, that no one, not even an evil someone, is at the wheel, and that leaders and government are essentially the geopolitical equivalent of every adult simply being a kid who feels like they are pretending to be an adult. that Planet X is real, orbits like a comet, and so enters the solar system at infrequent intervals, and is home to intelligent life that's affected past human civilizations. It's quiet in space, because something incredibly evil and horrific is snuffing out advanced life once it starts colonizing other worlds. Be quiet or they will hear you. First response we get from intelligent life. Frick, that would be terrifying. Reality is an illusion. You're the only thing that actually exists. When you die, you realize that, and in your loneliness go insane, and create another fictitious world, to occupy your mind until you die. Repeat forever. Terror organizations are funded and supported, as an alternate form of war, by shadow governments. No theory here, that's what has been happening in Syria for years. We are all just code in a simulation, being run by a far more intelligent species who is trying to determine why humans died out long ago. They run the simulation to cover millions of years to pinpoint the moments where we went wrong and to learn why civilization crumbled to prevent the same fate from taking them. When we die, our code is either terminated entirely or is reproposed into another life in a form of digital reincarnation. They are here. They have been here for a long time. They aren't all nice. In their defense, not all humans are nice either. Some are huge a-holes. The entire universe was created, all at once, last Thursday. Your memories from before then. Also created last Thursday. This only really applies to America, but it makes sense to me. We are the world military superpower. Most of our nation's industry trade negotiations that keep us on top relies on this. So think about that first, and now think about the things that are wrong with America. Our healthcare sucks, education is insanely expensive, and the idea of college being necessary to make a good living has been driven into us, as well as minimum wage being fucking laughable to the point where an average family cannot survive on it. We are constantly at war and trying to play world police. We have never not had enemies or been involved in a conflict off of our soil, especially if it benefits our elite financially. Now, in order to keep this well-oiled machine running, you need people to join the military. A lot of people. The main reasons people join the military in America are for healthcare, education payment, and because they feel lost and have no other direction as a result of our piss-poor high school agendas. People aren't taught how to survive or learn practical skills at all. It makes joining the military after high school look very entice. If we got universal healthcare and free education, enrollment would significantly drop off, resulting in a pretty quick collapse in our dynasty. It's all a well-oiled machine designed to keep the empire rolling over the backs of our young men and women, while keeping the elite rich from whatever military/corporate endeavor they can think of. The majority of human history in the textbooks is a lie, and the pyramids in Egypt weren't used for tombs, but for generating zero-point energy off of electromagnetism. The moon is hollow. Aliens are real. Some are nice, others are a bit rappy. We could end world hunger and global warming if governments and politicians weren't so stuck on taking money from companies. Atlantis was real and was located in East Africa, but was destroyed by a shift in the climate. Atlantis evidence. I think that's all for now. Oh, Sasquatch is real. Pharmaceutical companies are withholding a cure for cancer because of how much money they make from the current treatments such as chemo. Now I know that there are tons of cancers, so there being a single magical cure is something that just will never happen. But imagine how scary it would be if it were true. These companies are so greedy that they are not only willing to kill millions of people, but also put their family and friends through the terrible ordeal of watching them die slowly from cancer. It's pretty fricked up. The Large Hadron Collider damage and shutdown incident was actually due to the production of a micro black hole, which has sunk to the Earth's core and is eating the Earth from the inside out. The Mandela effect means we're in an alternate reality. The Mandela effect is basically that a whole lot of people remember events happening differently than they are officially recorded in history. And it's called that because a lot of people remember Mandela's funeral happening years sooner than it actually did. The theory ties into the CERN Hadron Collider. No one really knew what would happen when they turned it on. Worst case scenario, it might make a mini black hole and kill us all instantly. The theory says that when they turned on the collider, it actually did kill us all. And that sudden event shifted our entire world into a parallel reality where we just kind of continue to exist like nothing really happened. The side effects are the Mandela effect, and that some people still remember things, how they happened in the old reality. The conspiracy theory that MK Ultra is still happening. MK Ultra is pretty much what caused a lot of people to come up with conspiracy theories, because the government really was spiking people's drinks with LSD and running a bunch of horrible tests involving sensory deprivation. Read up on it if you want, but it's the stuff of nightmares. That sometime around 2015 the player of the simulation in which we are currently living got bored with this save and began to hit the equivalent of the disaster button in SimCity over and over again. That human life on Earth has started and ended several times before. The human species has repeatedly begun, evolved, advanced, and then died off, or was wiped out over and over. And so far, we have demonstrated that we can only last about 5,000 to 10,000 years. Ancient sites like Göbekli Tepe and several other megalithic structures around the world seem to suggest humans may have once had even more advanced technology than we do today, but got wiped out and had to start over again. Some even think the Great Pyramid of Giza is much older than mainstream scientists and archaeologists say, and had a completely different purpose than the tomb theory that pervades mainstream beliefs today. That your life is a TV show, like in The Truman Show.